Americans have been led to believe that Canada is their gentle northern neighbor. It may be difficult for Americans to believe that Canada is a police state where the rights of Indigenous people are almost non-existent, without the strong visual evidence you are about to see.
You want to see what they do to Indian people when they try and secure a better lifestyle for themselves?
I was given a message this morning, not too long ago, that there's a raid going on in Burn Church right now. My chief's been arrested. Many of the other fishermen have been arrested. More of our boats have been seized. Our supporters out on their boats had their boats swamped. They've been arrested. Some of our warriors right now are about to defend the wharf on which we send our boats on. There's a talk that RCMP is about to go and raid them now.
We take every precaution to make sure that people aren't hurt. But the fisheries officers have a job to do out there. They have to remove traps that are illegal or unauthorized. And they'll continue to do that. Those instructions that go to them are from me and from the department. They're carrying out their responsibility, and they'll continue to do it.
They say we have the freedom of assembly. They say we have those basic fundamental freedoms, and when we try and exercise them, this is what happens. They arrest our people, they handcuff them, they pepper spray them, they throw them in jail,
and then they kill them!
In the summer of 1990, the town of Oka, Quebec wanted to expand their 9-hole golf course to 18 holes over a known Mohawk gravesite.
Masked Mohawks guarding the land they say belongs to them. Land that includes a Mohawk burial ground. Land the town of Oka wanted to use to expand a golf course.
We set this up in a peaceful manner. By whatever it takes to defend our land, we're ready to take it. Even if it takes our lives. If we fall down, a lot are going to fall down with us.
But the calm gave way to violence when the army and police arrived to search the area for weapons.
In Manitoba, according to the latest Statistics Canada figures, 61% of those in jail are Aboriginals, although we make up only 12% of the population. In Saskatchewan, it is even higher, at 76%. In the United States, Indian reservations account for 2.13% of the U.S. landmass. But in Canada, Indian reservation lands within the 10 provinces account for less than 1/4% of the Canadian landmass. The largest trade relationship in the world is between the United States and Canada. Over $4 trillion in the last 7 years alone, nearly $2 billion a day, and well over $1 million a minute. 87% of all Canadian exports flow to the United States. A huge percentage of those exports are made up of gas, oil, timber, minerals, and cars. The Canadian government is financed by American multinational corporations. Americans finance Canada, and Americans have a huge influence over Canadian policies. But only a few Americans know anything about how Canada treats the Indigenous peoples. Treaties were supposed to guarantee the First Nations a share of our own lands, a share of our natural resources wealth. Today, cheap Canadian resources power up the U.S. economy, while at home in Canada, many Indigenous peoples live in abject poverty. While we make up only 2% of the Canadian population, over 50% of the people killed at the hands of police every year are Indigenous people. Only Americans can stop the abuses inflicted upon Canadian Indians. Only Americans can stop the violence and stop financing the policies that kill Canadian Indians.
They're terrorists, they're criminals, and there's nothing to negotiate with them. Our position is that's deeded land. It belongs to the James Cattle Company, and by virtue of them occupying it, they're interfering with the lawful use and operation of that property.
How did they become involved, and in such a major way? The record shows that it was after the police introduction of criminalization through alleged terrorist acts that their presence was not seriously questioned.
Some of them are saying, well, you know, where is the other side of the story? And the police did not allow the other side of the story to come out. There is no other side of the story. There's only one side of the story.
Evidence emerged to support the existence of a coordinated smear campaign. The following footage depicts some of the participants and the procedures they used.
This guy now with a passion, and he is very enthusiastic about putting anything out there that is legitimate and professional and logical to show that this guy is a... We only want people that can help us then. No, these two can't. Okay. Did you find somebody today that can help us with a disinformation or a smear campaign?
When the National Chief of the Assembly of First Nations, representing 633 First Nations in Canada, spoke out against racism, the Minister of Indian Affairs cut $10 million of AFN funding, and AFN had to release 64% of their staff.
We want a fair and just inclusion. We want a fair and equitable share in the wealth of this country. We want honor and respect of this government in regards to the implementation of our treaties.
The health problems in the Aboriginal communities that you've listed off in the speech, I won't go over it here, but 25 times this, 8 times so, you know the numbers. They're drastic. Anywhere else on this continent, emergency response. Why is it that you could have such terrific social impoverishment in that category, the category of health, and it's treated as a casual problem? What is the problem here?
In July 2003, chiefs in Canada voted overwhelmingly to elect former National Chief Phil Fontaine to replace Matthew Kuncombe.
You know that I disagree with some of the ideas of my fellow candidates on how best to get results. I do not question their integrity or commitment to the service of our nations. I respect the personal sacrifices each of them has made in public life. In unity, we cannot fail.
On Sunday, March 22, 1998, in Tsuut'ina Reservation in Alberta, RCMP officer Dave Bowler takes a shotgun out of his car and kills Connie Jacobs and her 9-year-old child, Ty Jacobs. Connie had been refusing to let her children go into care. Ty ran around the house that day